A million deaths is a statistic, one death is tragedy. I was surprised, amazed to see people coming out to the streets to fight or protest against the killing of one man, George Floyd. It wasn't a normal time. It was a time when COVID-19, the pandemic, was at its peak and people were crippled, lives and livelihoods had been lost, and people were sitting in the comfort of their homes but still in anxiety, in fear. Everybody was in a lockdown. The economy was shut down. But when the act happened, when that racial injustice happened, was committed by a police officer, people could take it no longer. They forgot their fear, they forgot their anxiety, and they came out in unison outside to protest. And I asked myself, did that one life matter so much that they would risk their own lives to come out in the open and protest? As I thought about it, the answer became clear. Yes, that one life of a person who they never knew in their whole lives, mattered so much that they were willing to put their own lives at stake. And this was because this wasn't about life, this was about identity. We live because we have an identity. Each of us is unique, yet we are collectively united by certain identities that we have for ourselves. I am an individual and I have my identity, who I am, what I want to achieve, what are my aspirations. All these are my identities. And when these identities are questioned, my life is meaningless, because it would be a life of an animal if I don't have my identity. People came out because they were black. People came out because they were oppressed, or they believed that they could be oppressed, or they felt that they were vulnerable to the system. And because the system that governs us all has the moral responsibility to protect our rights, our identities, this was an example of how that had failed. Because this wasn't a normal death. It was the brutal killing of a person because possibly of that person's race. And that was not right. There was a risk that all of us could be broken down into minorities, and the same thing could be done to us. It wasn't a question of our present, it was also a question of our past and our future. We have forgotten the gruesome acts that have taken place in the past, but we want to be hopeful, and we want to be responsible. We want our future to not bear the same brunt. We want the future to be equal, safe, happy. And that promise, that dream, brought us all out together to fight. And that was the right thing to do. Because identity is who we are, and that is what matters the most.